Hello, everybody, and welcome to Empire's Podcast of the Week, or the podcast that we were able to do for this period, lockdowns, whatever takes place. But welcome. I'm glad to see all you guys. And today's podcast is going to be on a very crazy subject, something that I think is going to blow your guys' mind. Today's subject is police gangs that the police actually run. They're the shot callers. They're the ones recruiting. They're the active gang members. And I first heard about these gangs in 2007. I was an inmate, a convict, whatever you want to call me, in the Bureau of Prisons at United States Penitentiary, Florence. And there had been a gang there called the Cowboys. And this gang was, it was rampant. It was bad. It had been cleaned up by the time I had got there, but there were still remnants of it. And what these guys did was they pitted inmates against each other. They would fight them into cages. They would put one race versus another race within the red cages, and they would have them fight until it was over, sometimes to the death. They would throw knives in there, and they would bet on it. And it was a really, really bad, ugly, dangerous situation. Today I'm going to be talking mostly about some gangs going on in Los Angeles in the Sheriff's Department. That's what's been being reported on. I'm going to be making some quotes out of the Rolling Stone magazine and some stuff that I heard off of NPR and some other stuff that my father had found me on the internet. So these gangs first started in 1973. I think the first gang that had been talked about was the Little Red Devils. This took place in, I want to say, the Los Angeles Sheriff's Department, and it exploded from 1973 to today. And the name of the gangs today that are out there are the Banditos, the Spartans, the Regulators, the Cowboys, and the Reapers. And these gangs act just like a prison gang, just like a street gang. They have shot callers. They have a way that you get recruited. It's going to be a little different than the street gang. You're not going to be jumping one another and beating each other in. But these guys got to put in work just like a prison gang. So what that looks like is these officers kill people. They hurt people. They enact violence against the community. And in order for somebody to become a member of it, they have to put in a piece of work. So they'll follow a guy with a gun, someone that they believe has a gun on him, and the group of gang members dressed up like the police, crazy as it sounds, will pull the guy over, surround him. They'll shoot him dead, and they'll claim he had a weapon. They'll falsify the reports. They'll do that. And then they head to a bar after work and celebrate the recruitment of the new officer. Some of the tattoos that you'll see these officers have will be like a skull with a gun smoking after they've killed someone, or it's like almost like a skull with a Nazi helmet, things like that. And one of the things I read in Rolling Stone magazine article was some of these officers do what's called chasing ink. In order to get that ink, they got to put in some work. If they beat someone up, they jump them, they involve themselves in that, they'll get one small piece of ink. If they kill somebody, they'll get the gun smoking. And what it talked about in Rolling Stone is that these officers actually chase ink. They do what they do in order to get these tattoos, and then they celebrate it. And let me tell you something. As you guys know, I'm a former gang member. And I changed my life, and I got out of that. So when I hear about this, and I read about it, and I listen to it on NPR radio, and it really disgusts me, man. It really hurts my heart to know that the same people that are telling me, hey, man, you got to change your life. You got to get it together. You got to do this. These are the same people that are in gangs. These are the same people doing the exact same stuff. It's hypocritical, and it's horrible to know that it's happening, because I want to see a better world for us. I want to see a better corrections environment. I want to see a better court system. Well, how are we supposed to have responsible policing and responsible things like that going on if we have police that are acting like this? Hey, guys, there's one thing I do want to say. I don't want this to sound like that this is all the police or that this is all correctional officers. This is every bad actor out there, because it's not. I've had a lot of help from a lot of good officers. I was steered into dropping out of my gang by police officers. The intelligence department really helped me on that journey. And I just want it to be known that not all officers are bad officers. There's some bad apples out there, but, there are a lot of good. So let's not just assume that I'm talking about all officers, because I'm not. November 2010, I was living in a hotel, and I was beaten within an inch of my life. My back was broke. My neck was broke. I was put in a back brace for months, and I was really hurt, man. And I let it go. I don't hold it against those guys anymore, but I have. Every time I work out, I feel my back. Every time I get out of bed, I feel my back. And, this is the kind of stuff that needs to change in our community. There's a whistleblower. I'm going to quote Rolling Stone magazine. This guy's name was Art Gonzalez, and he called a whistleblower's tip line. And he said that these gangs are facilitated and enabled by the people at the highest level. How am I supposed to get a fair trial? How am I supposed to get arrested for supposedly breaking the law and be held accountable for my actions correctly? How can the community trust and believe the police officers that arrested me if they're just involved in the same exact crap that everybody else is involved in, One of the things that happened to this officer after he blew the whistle was they wrote "rat" on his locker. This was supposed to be a confidential tip hotline. He called the confidential tip hotline, and within 24 hours, they knew who he was. Blows my mind. Let me talk a little bit more about these LA gangs. And it says, this is a quote out of the Rolling Stone magazine. It says, LA Sheriff's Department gangs are based out of the department's geographic precincts, which the report calls out for the operating as quasi-independent fiefdoms. For example, the executioners run out of the Compton station, while the East LA station is notorious as the home of the Banditos. Much like street gangs, the various LASD gangs mark themselves with tattoos. The Executioner Inc. is described as a skeleton holding an automatic rifle. So, again, I just want to say, these street gangs are acting just like these police gangs are acting just like territorial street gangs. And, reform, that's what we're about, guys. So let's move on a little bit. I want to talk about Colorado. So January 30th, 2016, a fight broke out between two biker gangs, the Mongols and the Iron Order. 7 people were stabbed, injured, and 1 was killed. The one that was killed was the Mongol, and he was killed by the Iron Order. Let me tell you about the Iron Order. The Iron Order is a motorcycle club that formed in 2004. They are formed by police officers, law enforcement, and ex-military. This is here in Colorado, guys, right here where I'm at. They claim that they are not a 1% club and that they are not a outlaw biker club, but the Department of Justice has pinned them just as such. The DOJ, the government, says they are an outlaw biker club. Well, after this fight broke out and this officer off duty that worked for the Department of Corrections, after he shot and killed a rival gang member, the Denver District Attorney failed to prosecute charges on this guy. He said, no, I'm not going to prosecute this guy. So because this is an off-duty police officer, he gets to join a gang and kill people? It doesn't make sense to me, guys. It sounds like, I don't know, it sounds like a farce, and I would like to see this as reformed. This would be like my number one things that I would like to see reformed in Colorado. I don't know anything about these guys. I've been in prison since 2001, off and on. I've never heard of these guys one time other than on the news. But if you guys know anything about it, I would like to hear what you guys have to say. Leave some comments, talk about it. If you guys have any ideas for reform, how could we go about changing this? How could we make sure that our police, our streets are being policed responsibly by officers that are not gang members? I would love to hear your guys' opinions, what you guys think. That's all for today. I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Take care and have a good day.